Seems like just about everywhere we go these days, there's more negativity than there is positivity, whether it's internet, social media, fishing. And I thought we had some viewer requests, and it'd be just a good time to have somebody on that is super positive, got a great story, and just kind of spreads positivity. And let's talk fishing tonight and just have a good time, some fun tonight. And so I want to welcome a special guest to HellaBass Live, Hunter Is it Baughman?
Yes, sir, it is.
There you go. Hunter Baughman, uh, from a little town in Arkansas, professional
Yes,
angler.
yes, very little town in Arkansas. How are you tonight?
Good. I'm good. I always look forward to Wednesday nights and chatting fishing for sure.
Yes, sir, me as well. Looking forward to this.
Yeah. So HellaBass Live, as usual, presented by Arsenal Fishing and boosted by Powerhouse Lithium. There's codes down in the description if you guys want to support the companies that are supporting the channel and the stream. Much appreciated. But yeah. So Hunter, you're from Arkansas. I think you've been fishing NPFL for 5 seasons now. Is that right?
That's right, man. I've been there since the very first event.
Absolutely. So what I don't know, what attracted you to the NPFL back in, was it 2021? Is that right?
That's right. I've been 21. Man, I fished the Toyotas for a while at that point. I I wanted to move up. Like that was kind of the dream was fish professional level, and that was kind of an opportunity. Not saying I wouldn't have qualified for the tour at the time of FL or what the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, I guess is what it's called now, or the elites. If I'd gone to the opens, qualifying was an option, but this was a way to kind of jump start it and get in it. I made some calls and rounded up a little backing, sent in a resume, and did an interview with Brad Fuller, the president, and was accepted in. And man, I'm glad I did. I didn't really know then. I hadn't heard of a lot of the people that were like they brought. I can tell him now. I've told him, but Fat Cat, like he's such an integral part of the NPFL. But back then, I didn't know who he was, and I watched some of his videos. I'm like, this guy's crazy. Why am I fishing this league to bring this guy in? Like, this guy's a nut. But I didn't really know what I was stepping into then. But 5 years done later, man, I'm really glad I did. It's a growing deal, and it's like family, man. It's just a great group of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Uh Fat Cat's kind of corralled it in a little bit, but some of his early social media from I don't know, 8, 10 years ago is pretty wild. Like it's out there. It's some it was edgy to say the least.
Man, like I'd already accepted it, right? And then they introduced. They were going that year. They had Dudley as a commentator, and they had Luke, which he's obviously still doing it. And then they introduced that they were going to have Fat Cat on the water, and I'm like, who's this? And I get on there, and the first video I watch is him with his nunchucks, and I don't know what all he was doing. And I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah, the three wheelers and the nunchucks and the yeah, pretty good stuff.
Oh yeah.
But Clay says he enjoyed watching you. Clay's a big fan of the MPFL and the no forward facing sonar. Um, and then Carol says hi from one town over. She says you're an inspiration.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, if people are watching, you can watch it in the skinny mode on your phone vertically, or there's a live version. So if you have a preference for one or the other, and you're on the other, you can easily back out and find the other one. But just gives people more options. Brian says the sound looks good, so we're rocking and rolling as usual. So yeah, I guess that's kind of a fun. Like this is the first year without scope. What are your thoughts? Are you a fan? You don't care? You like enjoy the league? Like what's kind of Hunter's stance on the decision on the technology?
So, as far as not the league, but just my standpoint, like I like it a lot. Um, I'm a river guy, Arkansas River. Grown up. Oh no, Brian's on here. Um, Growing up fishing river my whole life, like dirty current, that's my deal. Never thought I'd enjoy the offshore graphic type deal. but I really enjoy it. Like if I come home and I fun fish, I really, really enjoy doing it with scope on a lake here close to us. But man, for the NPFL, I was kind of like, it wasn't going to run me off or keep me one way or the other. It didn't really matter. At first, I was hesitant to go without. I wanted to keep it because it's so much easier to break down a lake that you've never been to. But the more I thought about it, the more that I felt like I don't know. It was the right move for them. It ended up working good for me. I mean, I had 2 top 10s doing it this year. I had some bad tournaments too, but it's nothing that I'm not comfortable with. I've done it my whole life without the last 4 or 5 years. So definitely comfortable doing it. And it does give me, and I'm not whining, like if it's a live scope deal, it's a live scope deal. I don't care. But it does give me the ability to go throw a jig or a spinnerbait and not have to worry and know that every cast, Patrick Walters and some of those other guys that are like the best in the world doing it, every cast they're making is at a fish they need to weigh in, and every cast I'm making is blind. And I thought, man, if we do this, at least we're all going to be making blind casts, you know?
Yeah. Get back to, I mean, yeah, watching you like attack shallow cover on some of the videos and some of the lives, it's pretty obvious that you're pretty comfortable picking apart cover and things like that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's like literally, see, Brian, literally it's, lay downs in grass at the river. I mean, that's pretty much it. Lay downs in grass and some rocks and square bills and spinner baits, buzz baits, flipping. So yeah, I mean, I'm I'm such a not good offshore guy when I don't have scope. Like I had a bunch of brush piles marked at Logan Martin this year. And man, it's like the good old days. I'd roll up to them and I'd throw 3 times and not hit them. I'd get mad and jerk the trolling motor up and leave. And the only reason I ever fish piles and stuff is because I could see them with scope. So I'll be the first to admit I'm not real good without it offshore. So definitely lets me slide back to the bank and
Cool. Yeah. Right on. So yeah, I mean, I guess what do you think your highlight? You definitely cashed some checks in the NPFL. What's your highlight of your 5 years in the NPFL so far? Oops.
5 maybe top 10s and another 11th that was almost a top 10. And the competition keeps getting stronger every year. But a lot of those, like one in particular, I was in Michigan, Saginaw, and I was catching largemouth, and like the top 3
Yep.
were smashing smallmouth. And I was in 5th going into the last day, and my wife was pretty excited. And I'm like, look, we're not having the same tournament. Like they're catching a pound bigger fish than I'm catching every time they put one in a live well. Even though I was in 5th going in, finished 10th, but I knew I wasn't fishing to win that tournament. I knew from the first one I put in the live well to the time I weighed in on day 3 that I wasn't. I mean, that was not the fish to win it, but that was the fish to have a really good tournament. But this year, man, especially Logan Martin, I went into the last day in 4th. I fell to 10th. That seems to be an ongoing thing, but that's the first one that I felt like I truly was in contention to win. And it felt pretty good against the crowd we have, to have a chance to win, even though it didn't work, but I had the opportunity there. I needed 14 and a half pounds to win. Some guys up top stumbled. 14 and a half would have won it, and I weighed in 14 and a half the day before. So, I was definitely on the right stuff.
Is this Logan Martin here?
That is Logan Martin. That was the best fish of the last day, which wasn't that great a fish.
Not a big one. Coming over you with it. Sorry. That'll work. Got that Brazalo jig choked.
Yeah, that's a good fish catch. I feel like they clip it kind of. It's hard to see the skip, but it's like a pretty nice presentation. That's what I was talking about. Like, definitely can tell you're very comfortable around boat docks and grass and all that kind of stuff. So.
Oh yeah, yes sir.
Pretty solid boat flip.
Well, thank you. That one was almost 3, and like a 3+ was a big one that week at Logan. And man, like I was proud to see that one. I broke one more off on a boat lift that probably was that good, but that was it. You know, the first 2 days I'd had a 4.14 on day 1 and a 4.5 on day 2, which would be like catching an 8 anywhere else. You know, it seemed like so. So I knew without another giant bite, I wasn't gonna have 14 again, but it was still a good tournament, and kind of let me know, hey, you can handle this, you can do this.
Yeah. So, are you one to look ahead at next year's schedule, fishing the NPFL to like?
Oh yeah, man, I always look ahead at their schedule. I fish about 50 local tournaments a year too, so I've been looking at a lot of schedules. But yeah,
Yeah,
man, I'm
like
excited about the NPFL schedule next year. I'm reading it on your screen so I don't forget. We were going first? Yeah, Florida.
Harris Chain.
So, quick little funny story. We went to Leesburg, the Harris Chain, the first year of the NPFL, and 10 minutes or 5 minutes before takeoff, the first morning, my wife called and said she was in labor. And I fished for like an hour, weighed in my fish, flew home. We had the baby the next morning. I got back on a plane and flew back down there and fished the last day. So, had a really good practice, lost an 8 on day 3 and still had a 5 and had a pretty good day on day 3 down there when I got back. Looking forward to going back to it. Then we go to
That is a
Patman.
combination
Man,
of
that's like I don't have a lot of
hard.
experience there except for the 2 NPFLs that have been there. Dude, it's less than 3 hours from my house. I mean, it's the closest thing we do ever for the NPFL. Barely outside of Arkansas into Texas. Shallow deal. It'll be fun. And then the next 2 will be on. I've been to Logan Martin twice. I've never been to Lay, but they're both Coosa River. I'm like, Lay is mid-May. Gosh, that gotta be a shad spawn. Like, there's no way around it.
Mhm.
And Logan will be there'll be some deep fish caught, some fish at the dam caught, a lot of different stuff. And it'll be fun. It'll be shallow. Like, we'll be able to fish shallow and fast for the first 4 tournaments. Really good. And then St. Lawrence, golly, I don't know. I was like 97th out of 100 there this year, so we're gonna have to regroup on that. That was the only time I'd ever seen it. And I know nothing about Lake George, but New York can't be bad, especially when it's hot here.
Yeah, that's the kind of deal where it's both those, right? Everybody's going to catch them, and it's just a matter
Man, I can't
keeping
hear
pace. Yeah, I don't know why that. How about now? No. Let's see if the folks at home can hear me, or it's just not you that can hear me.
I have.
Yeah, chat. Let me know if you guys can hear me, or it's just
Can you
Hunter
hear
that
me?
can't hear me. Yeah, I can hear you.
I have no idea why I can't hear you.
All right.
Clay hears us both.
Let's see here. We're gonna do the old remove from studio again trick, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe he got some kind of notification on his phone, something. Seemed like when I showed that video, he couldn't hear me after that. So I don't know if it's something like that, but I think he'll come back in and we'll probably be good. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, man, I don't know. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Well, it's a black square, but I don't have to see myself, so we're all good. I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody else can see you. So, yeah, I agree, Clay. Yeah, Clay says he can see you. Yeah, I'm on Clay. I've never been to this. I've fished like one evening on the Champlain years ago, but I'd like to get back out to New York and get some of that action. Yeah, pretty diverse schedule. Starting out in Florida, Texas, Alabama, and then up to New York, and then obviously the championship will get announced down the road. So which of those are you most excited? I'm gonna guess that Wright Patman is one of the ones you're most excited for.
Man, I really am. And like I said, it's not like I've got a ton of time there, but I really like the way it fishes. The first time we went was phenomenal. Probably one of the best tournaments I ever fished as far as fish catching. So, probably looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to St. Lawrence too, because it's like top notch. It's the best fishing in the world for smallmouth. So I've got to redeem myself. It wouldn't take a whole lot, about 16 pounds a day, and I'd be way ahead of where I was this year. But I mean, it's so easy to catch 20 there that I'm looking forward to going back.
Yeah, that is that like, yeah, I don't know, spinning rods, light line. That's, I mean, something you're probably doing more and more of fishing, the league every year, but that's probably not your go-to, I'm guessing.
No, without the live scope, without looking at it, I don't do the spinning rod deal a whole lot. But I am very comfortable with it. There's a lot more I learned because I went and I spent a lot of my time there with the spinning rod, drop shot, drifting deal, and I figured out later like you can just roll down the bank with a spinner bait or a jerk bait and catch them too. So there are a lot of ways to catch them at St. Lawrence. When you take that graph out of the equation, there's a whole lot of ways to catch them and stay relevant.
Yeah, and it's one thing if you're on like, like special, you got good spots and you're targeting them, but like, yeah, if you're just gonna roll around and catch 16, 18 pounds, you might as well roll around and catch 16, 18 pounds on a spinnerbait or a chatterbait.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I mean, and biggins bite it too, but
Yeah, and you can still get the right bites, but like, yeah, you don't have to dink and dunk your way around. You can kind of fly around and catch some good ones too. So
yeah, the first bite I had there in practice was a pretty good one. It was on a buzzbait, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to be a great week. And I don't think I caught another one the rest of the time I was there on a buzzbait, but I caught a bunch on spinnerbait, just little.
mhm. Yeah. So I guess it maybe a little bit like back up a little bit. Like, how did you get into fishing?
Gosh, it's all I've ever known. Like my family's very outdoor related. Um, we crappie fished mainly, and whatever we caught, we ate till I was up in my teens. But
Mhm.
that's I mean, I don't remember the first time I went fishing. Like I've just grown up in a boat and in the deer woods. And in my teens, I decided I want to start tournament fishing some, and it was a long, slow learning curve to do well. But
Did you do
started
that
back,
on your own or a buddy or?
I got a cousin that's the same age as me that we grew up. We were like 16 team fishing together, and we're both 39 now, and we're still team fishing together. So that's kind of who did it with me for a long time. My dad did too. And he's still team. My dad still fishes some team stuff with me, but he's not. He goes to go. I mean, he's not real hardcore about it like I am.
You're not as mad at him as you are.
No, he prefers warm days with little wind and no rain. But man, it's something. It's just a slow process. A lot of team stuff, a lot of BFLs, then some Toyotas. Got my butt kicked enough. I didn't have any more money. Came back and fished team stuff on the Arkansas River to pay to go fish some more Toyotas. Got my butt kicked, lost all my money. Come back to the river, made my money back. Go start doing it again. Did that over and over till I kind of got in the groove and had some backing.
Yeah, and then I guess that's probably. I mean, I'm, you've probably had some success at the local level and stuff like that, but one of the things for sure, right? Like 2022, you won a Toyota event on Truman, right?
That's right. Yes, sir. It was a very special week.
So is Truman a place you fish quite a bit, or?
No, I'd never seen it till that week. Kind of went in. I really didn't even hardly know anybody that had been there. I had one guy I knew, and he kind of told me, he was like, "Man, I caught him there. He caught him on the lower end in brush piles in a federation deal like a year or two before, and he won it. but he only had like 8 fish, and he beat everybody else that had 10. I knew he was catching the right size, and it's like, man, I think it has a bunch of timber, and it's hard to get around. And the first day I did some other stuff, but I saw 2 brush piles while I was fishing. I caught keepers out of both of them. It was a tough bite just to catch a keeper. I was like, oh man, the next 2 days of practice, I'm just going to commit to this lower end brush pile deal and see how it works. And I marked like 100 probably or close to it. And I shook about 60 bites off those 100. And I'm like, man, I think I catch some fish. I actually saw Mark McGraw that runs the Toyotas. He said, you going to catch them? I said, I doubt it. He said, well, have you caught any? I said, man, I've shook like 60. He said, oh, you'll be just fine. If you're getting that many bites here, you're going to be all right. But, yeah, I mean, it as you can see by the weights you've got up there, like 12. I didn't know what I'd catch because I shook them all. And that first day I had the 12 something. My co-angler had a 4.5 pounder that, I mean, if I'd had that one, I still wouldn't only have but 15 or so. I don't know what changed, but they got really big on day 2 and day 3, and I was proud to see every one of them.
Clearly, your weights, like, you trended the right way. You were building into, bigger bags each day, and that seemed to be the differentiator from a lot of people. They were consistently mediocre, or they were like up and down.
Yeah, and man, I couldn't hit everything I had marked every day. There's no way, but I hit a lot of it, and they just literally, like, just good Lord was watching out for me. I mean, they literally just, when I set the hook on day 2, instead of them being 2.5 pounds, they were 4 pounds. I mean, 3.5. I mean, they were just better quality fish the last 2 days.
Yeah, seems like a classic case of September. You had the fish coming to you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when it's supposed to happen, it just happens, man. I had 2 different fish that should never went in the boat. One of them was hung for almost 10 minutes, and I was doing circles around it on the last day in a brush pile, and I finally pulled to break the line. It broke the limb, and a 4.5 pounder floated up next to the boat and coiled a 2 pounder and put me to 19. It was my last cull of the day, and it was enough to win.
That's a good point. Drew Gill was in this field, so.
Yeah, well, I'll probably never beat Drew Gill again. I actually met Drew at that event. We had dinner one night, a bunch of us. Man, super good dude, and like the man at looking at a live scope. The man.
Yeah, and I've had him on this show. Such a smart, articulate way to talk about fishing. You know what I mean? Like he almost seems like he's too smart to be a fisherman.
Man, he hurts my head just trying to listen. I've listened to some of his interviews. And I'm like, gosh, he's thinking a lot harder about it than I am.
Absolutely. I saw, like, last year you fished the Bass Nation qualifier on Pickwick. I don't know. What'd you think of the Bass Nation event and how they ran it? And
man, I think they did good. When I first started tournament fishing, I was in a nation club, and then I actually ran that club for a while and fished nation a lot. And I hadn't in the last several years because it was so much go in to get to the state tournament just to get to the regional. And now, you can go straight into it. It makes a difference. They ran a great tournament. I had food poisoning through most of it, which was pretty miserable. But other than that, it was a good tournament. I went straight into it from somewhere, Sandy Cooper, I think, with the NPFL. And I had like a half day of practice. No, I was going to have a day and a half of practice. I was so sick, I practiced like 3 hours and quit and didn't find anything. The first day I landed on them like the last hour of the tournament, and I had 16 in an hour. And then the next day they were gone. I never did land on any. Like, the fishing was tough, but they ran a really good tournament. I'm going to try every year. Like, I love the NPFL, but I'm friends with all of them. Like, I fished some stuff at Bass. I fished some stuff at MLF. I've got friends that work for all of them. I think anybody that would tell you they don't want to make a classic would be lying. And, I'm going to try to do something every year towards qualifying for a classic. I may never make one. And who knows? I'm not saying if the opens ever lined up where it worked financially and schedule wise, I'm not saying I wouldn't jump the opens. If I made the elites, I'd go. But I will do something every year to try to, work toward the classic. So maybe one time we qualify.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, I at one point I thought like it'd be cool to fish the elites or something like that, and I did one season of the opens or the one division of the opens like 2-3 years ago when they had the kind of the northern opens where it
Yeah.
was like St. Clair, Mississippi, lacrosse, and got my taste, got scratched that itch to fish at a really high level. But yeah, I still like to fish the nation tournaments, and I've fished 5 or 6 of the nation championships now. So I've made some final day cuts and been kind of within, you know, somewhat striking distance, but never punched my ticket at the classic. But that is something that still definitely drives me, is to make a classic for sure.
Yeah, there's a regional or qualifier at Champlain immediately following us at St. Lawrence. And I mean, I'm not saying now I'm going to fish it, but I am looking at that. The others, there's a couple that I just didn't care to go to. Right? If you're going to pick one, a couple of them like that. And then there was one I didn't care, and a couple of the schedule, or vice versa. But the Champlain one, I've never seen Champlain, but I'd love to fish it. It's just going to be logistically. I've got my wife, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and another one will be here at the end of February, and they travel with me. And we'll be there, and then we'll go back in September, and just, if we want to stay an extra week in New York before we come home and go back, make it only 6 weeks between going back or whatever. But I've got it. I've got my list of stuff on the calendar. I'm trying to narrow it down, and that is on the list right now.
Yeah. It's on my list. It's a long drive, and I'm not going to be out there, but like, it does sound fun. And we have there's a Bass Nation lacrosse, but one of the other main circuits I fish just has too hard of a conflict, so I'm not going to be able to fish that lacrosse one, which is a shame because I qualified last time we were there, and it's going to be a really good time of year. But that's a good event.
What will they be? Will they be pre-spawning? I saw the lacrosse one, and I don't see many tournaments that early up there. I've never been there, but I mean, I love river fishing.
Yeah, 2 years ago they had a qualifier like the same week, essentially, and it was pre-spawn going into they were coming hard that particular. A little bit weather dependent, but there's always some fish that first, second week in May in the river that are like starting. Like, it's just a matter of how hard they're coming. But you can definitely still catch them pre-spawn as well. So
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, it's the fish will be shallow, and they'll be biting, and there'll be green ones and brown ones, and you can do a lot of different things to catch them for sure that time of year.
Right.
Frog bite really doesn't. Frog bite is just starting that time of year, but they're just because they're shallow, not because they're really on that thing, right? It's more
right.
You can catch dead fish on frogs if you get it over their head, right? But
I love catching a bedfish on frog. That's some of the most fun stuff you can do.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of mentioned that you do a ton of local stuff. You said, I think we were talking before, almost every Saturday you're fishing a local tournament. So how many, outside of like your kind of main schedule of fishing the league and mixing in some Toyotas, you probably got whatever, like 8 or 10 called big tournaments, right, per year.
Right.
How many local events are you stacking on top of that?
Way too many. Probably close to 50. Between 40 and 50. I know one year before the league, I was above 60 locally that I'd fished. But we fished 10 Tuesday nighters a year on the river. And then we fish somewhere, like the Tuesdays are set. They're only going to fish 10. The Thursday nights, they go kind of every other week until they don't want to go anymore. So it's usually 10 to 15 of those. I fish another circuit that fishes 10 on the river during the day on Thursdays. It's a solo circuit. Then usually my dad and I try to fish a club together. And it's usually something small, like a $50 entry, just something we go have fun doing. Preferably a schedule that we enjoy versus something that you're having to work hard to do well in, But And then, man, if there's a Saturday, and I know that seems like that is a lot, but if there's a Saturday, I'm going. And this year will be a few more. We were talking about this a little bit before we went live. I never fished in the winter. I just hadn't. I'm a huge deer hunter. But it's been so hot here. I've been going to this local lake and catching them, like really a lot of fish and having a lot of fun. And they've got a winter series up there, and man, it starts next month. And I think I'm going to fish it. It's not over till the end of February, but I think I'm going to fish with them this winter and go have fun through the winter too.
Yeah, winter's a little different up here. It requires an auger and that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I'm out. And I'll tell you, if it's like 35 and raining, I'm probably not going either. But for the most of them, I'll go.
Right. So big deer hunting. What any like what's like I think you said I think heard in one of your things that you like to travel around, you hunt a few different states, like what's are you like looking for meat in the freezer, trying to put a trophy, like how what's your approach to deer hunting? You kind of said it's kind of a big deal for you, like
so it's both. And this is actually an odd year. The first year in like 8 years, I won't hunt anywhere but Arkansas. But we definitely eat a lot of deer meat here. Like my family eats 3 to 4 a year pretty easily. I mean, if we eat 5 dinners a week at home, 4 of those will be something to do with deer meat, you know. But my wife's a great cook and she finds a lot of different ways to do it. But man, I do like growing deer. I like killing an older, you know, more mature, bigger deer. Pass a lot of deer to do that. And I don't, like, I'm still in the hills of Arkansas. Like, I'm not in the Midwest. You know, I'm not killing 170-inch deer. But, you know, here, for anybody that does deer hunt, like here, 100, for me, in the hills, 130-inch deer is a big one. Like, I've killed 4 or 5 of those here, 130 to 140 deer. And that's kind of like, that's a really good deer here for the most part. We're allowed 2 bucks a year. I have not killed both of my bucks in like 5 or 6 years. But I try to kill a decent one when I do kill one. And then, like I said, I definitely will take a few does, you know, for the meat.
right on. Yeah, makes sense.
If you can, look here, I'll show you something. But I can't see what I'm looking at because it's black. So you'll just have to tell me what you can see. But
We got the shoulder. There we go. Now yeah. Whoa. Yeah. That's
killed a couple.
10 or 12 solid bucks on the wall over there.
Yeah, some of them are smaller than others, but there's 4 or 5 pretty decent deer up there.
Keep you company in your office, anyways.
That's right, man. The office is fixing to be the new baby room in February. We actually just built a new office in my garage because I'm out of room. I got more kids than I got bedrooms.
You kind of mentioned that you take the kids on the road. So are you doing some homeschooling with them on the road, or they're just not old enough?
Yeah, the oldest is 4, so till next fall there's not. But I do think we've talked about it and prayed about it. I do think my wife is going to homeschool them, and they're going to continue to go on the road. She's befriended Bill Lowen's wife this year and a couple of the elite guys that have raised kids, you know, on the road and talked to them a lot about it. And, you know, like Bill's kids, man, they're upper teens, you know, and he's raised those kids from infants on the road. And I think that's what we're going to try to do. If it doesn't work out, you know, once they get old enough, right now they don't care. You know, once they're up in their teens, if they're wanting to play sports or not happy, like I don't want my dreams to keep them from getting to do something. So definitely we'll regroup. But for the first few early years anyway, I think we're going to do I say we very lightly because it'll be her that does the homeschooling. I'm not that guy. They don't want me doing it. I don't teach very well, but they're going to do the homeschooling.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, I think the Howells did it. Yeah, there was quite a few others back in especially in the early elite days. There was a lot of stories. I mean, I think Alton Jones Jr., right? I think he turned out okay. It seems like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, yeah. There's several, and it's I think Aaron Martin's had his kids on the road with him. There's a lot of them. A lot of them did, and there's there's not as many with us, but there's getting to be more. We're getting some other guys over, from Bass and stuff. But it's, those kids are seeing things that most people never see in their whole life, part of the country, like my kids in 4 years have traveled more than my wife that has in 30 something.
Mhm. So what's your go-to? You got a traveling setup, you rent houses. What's your strategy on the road with the fam?
So we rent houses. Um, yeah, that's pretty much. We've done a hotel, but not for a whole week. Like stop somewhere on the way and get a hotel. And I'll go ahead and tell you, if y'all have never traveled with my youngest is about to turn 3 like in 2 days. But it's basically if you've never traveled with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, a hotel room's not big enough. Period. It's not big enough. So we rent a house. We may look at. We've talked about renting like you can rent a camper to where they set
Mhm.
it up and you just roll in and camp for the week and then they take it down. We may do that. My wife a couple years ago wanted to look at campers to start doing that full time. And I'm like, you realize if I pull a camper, you've got to pull a boat across the country in another vehicle, right? And that stopped her real quick on that. She's like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to pull a boat across the country.
Yeah. My dad has done a decent amount of pull and triple with a fifth wheel, but yeah, it adds complications and setup time, and there's all the legalities. And if you want to run a 21-foot boat, then your camper can only be so long, and
Right.
so and you start hitting them toll roads.
Yeah, no
With all
kidding.
those axles.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2026, you're kind of looking at the league, NPFL. What else is on your plate for 2026?
Man, there's a Toyota at Dardanelle, which is Arkansas River, about an hour and a half from the house. Definitely will be there. I'm very fortunate that it's a week that I'm home because we don't, man, in Arkansas we don't get a lot of bigger stuff to fish. Like the NPFL hadn't been here. Well, I mean we've already got 26 seasons, so 6 years worth. We hadn't been to Arkansas yet. We get a Toyota every other year, every third year. Uh, there was a Bass Open this year at Norfolk that I didn't fish. That I don't really know Norfolk that well, but definitely will fish the Toyota at Dardanelle. There's a Toyota the week before that on the Arkansas River in Oklahoma at Muskogee. I've never been to that part of the Arkansas River, but it can't be a lot different. And I'm also home, so I may go back to back on those. Other than that, just a lot of local stuff. Maybe, like I said, maybe a Bass Nation deal in there.
Yeah, very cool. I think we're going to take a 1-minute break here quick, and then let's get some more questions going for Hunter when we come back.
Are you ready to reel in your next home purchase or refinance? Supreme Lending's Dream Team can help guide you through the entire mortgage process, from pre-qualification to closing. We have a wide variety of home loan programs in our tackle box, including down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer options. You can ask HellaBass. He trusted us to help finance his home. Contact the Dream Team today by searching Supreme Lending Dream Team, or click the link below in the description, or scan the QR code on your screen.
Shout out to the Dream Team. If you guys are looking to make something happen, refinance, or look for new property, give Aaron Dagas a shout at the Dream Team. He's a guy that supports fishing, and it's important to support the companies that support us. So, Carol asked, what time of year is the Dardanelle tournament?
It is mid-June. I don't remember the dates, but mid-June. Really good time of year to be on the river.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to fish that Bull Shoals one anyways. Only a 1-day tournament. It wouldn't have been.
Yeah, the Norfolk. Man, I'll tell you,
Or the Norfolk. Yeah, sorry.
Norfolk and Bull are so close together; they fish completely different. If it had been on Bull, I'd have probably went, but I don't have a lot of time on Norfolk. But yeah, the 1-day deal would be a bad. Not fishing the whole year and then having to jump in and do it all for 1 day would have been kind of not good. Oh, thank
So
you.
Brian says, going into a tourney, what's your confident bait? Like if you got a way you want to catch them and be dialed in, how do you want to catch them?
Man, I want to catch them on a 5/16 Brazalo green pumpkin finesse jig and a hollow body frog. Like those two deals, that's what I like.
What kind of frog setup?
As far as like rod and reel, you talking about?
Yeah, like
Man, so I throw arc rod and reel. I like the Invoker, the 7. They got a 7-1 heavy. I'm still trying to figure out which one I want to throw it on. I think the 7-1 heavy is where I'm gonna land on that. We don't like when I throw a frog, we don't have a lot of vegetation. It's not like mats. So it's under limbs and stuff like that. So I like a little short rod with a lot of backbone that I can skip it up under something and fish. So probably the 7-1 heavy Invoker is where I'm at on that, with an 8-to-1 reel and 50-pound braid.
yeah, cool. Yeah, I was curious because frog requires a certain amount of power and like obviously your mechanics and my mechanics aren't exactly the same. So I was wondering
Right,
do you
right.
do anything different setup wise for certain things that based on if you just kind of adapted
No, I mean, I kind of have my stuff that I like, but I don't think it being different. You know what I mean? I think it's
Yeah.
going to be real similar to you. Just like if I came up there to the Mississippi River, like I'm gonna throw a 7.6 probably, so I can drag them out of the slop when they bite it. But no, I really don't that I'm aware of. If it's all I've ever known, so if I do something different, I may not even be aware that
but it's not like you don't consistently go shorter or longer rods for certain techniques. It's kind of consistent with or what.
Yeah, I might if there was anything, it might be longer rods for dragging, so I can move more line when I set the hook because I'm not walking back or anything when I set the hook. It's all, upper body pretty much on the hook set. So
Sure.
I do like a long rod, especially deep drag. If you're dragging brush piles or something, I like.
So Carolina rigs, football jigs, a little bit longer rods. So when you swing the rod, you're moving more line. That makes sense.
Yeah, like 7.6. That's 7.8 if it's heavy. Most time like a 7.6. Like I like to move the line, and that's which fluoro still got some stretch in it. That helps you take up a little bit and hold it tight on them while you're catching up to them too.
Yeah, and you're on dragging. You're more of a straight fluoro.
I'm pretty much straight fluoro on everything except spinning reel. Obviously everybody pretty much does braid to fluoro, and then braid on top waters and stuff. But yeah, I like some fluoro, and I keep it really simple. I throw 14 if I'm winding. I mean, there's exceptions, but 14 if I'm winding, 17 if I'm dragging. I mean, that's pretty. If it's a chatterbait, spinnerbait, crankbait, 14. If it's dragging something, 17. I do flip 25, but that's pretty much I keep one rod in the box. With 25, everything else either got 14 or 17. Till you start getting down to your spinning reels and your 8 for all your forward-facing needs.
Yeah, I was like, have you ever dabbled with the fighter braid to fluoro for flipping and dragging and that kind of stuff?
No, I had a partner that did that for a while, and he talked about how stupid it was, so much how much he hated it that he scared me away from it. I never did do it, and I don't know. I might have loved it, but I never did play with it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely some advantages. I've just never been able to adjust my equipment and my hook set. I feel like no matter what lead or not I tie, somehow I don't know if I need to soften my rods and lower my mechanics, but there just seems like there's too much shock on that connection knot. I do it all the time spinning rods, but in top waters I'll tie short leaders, but I don't know. I just can't stop slack lining when it's a braid to fluoro and I seem to pop them. So
Man, and I'm just not a fan of braid. I don't have anything against it. I just don't enjoy it. If it does hit in there and try to stop, it nearly rips out your hand on throw. And I've just never been a fan. I throw braid on as little as I need to, whatever I can get by with is all I want it on.
Yeah. Brian wants to know, I don't know, you seem very proficient at skipping docks. Is it pretty easy or any advantage or disadvantages, or you just have got your muscle memory down or?
Well, all my buddies tell me I'm at an advantage because I'm half their height. So I'm a little, I'm lower. I really do think that's probably an advantage. I'm not going to let it all out yet, but I do have a new shirt I'm going to drop here in a couple weeks, probably on my socials, and we'll sell on my website, that involves being short and skipping docks. So y'all will definitely need to stay tuned. It's kind of funny.
Stay tuned. There's some merch coming, I think, as the kids say. Got
and
some merch.
that's right. I'm new on this merch stuff, but I had some, I hashtag Hunter Fishes on everything, and that's kind of my deal. And I had some Hunter Fishes merch out a couple years ago, and I hadn't had anything else, and we needed something new just to get out. And my wife came up with an idea, and like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's pretty funny. To 2 or 3 people I've sent it to love it. So, but it involves being short and skipping docks, so that should be out soon.
So you do have Hunter Fish's website, and then it looks like you got the TikTok, the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube. So
And
plenty of stuff to check
that's
out.
all just yeah, that's all designed by me. So, if it doesn't look professional, that would be because I did it.
Yeah, well then it's authentic, right? So
That's
there's
right.
a lot of people with really polished looking stuff, and they aren't the ones behind it, right?
Yeah, right.
You could say the same about my stuff. It's all me. So
It's cheaper that way, isn't it?
it's not less work.
No, it's not less work.
Dun, dun, dun. So what kind of boat are you running?
So I've got a Bass Cat Era right now. It's for sale. I've got a Puma ordered for next year. I ran cats from 2 cats from 08 to 19, and I went to a different boat brand for 4 or 5 years there. And anyway, I'm back. I started back this in 25 with Bass Cat. Man, glad to be back with them. Some great guys built right here at home, about 2 hours from my house. So glad to be back in the Cat. But nobody wants to seem to buy this Era, so I went to a Puma. I think the wider boat will get a few more hits. So that's I like them all. I like narrow, preferably. Just my personal preference. I like narrow. Me being short, I think I can skip a little better. I don't have as much width out there on each side of me, but it's a hard time to sell a boat, and if a Puma will sell quicker, then I'll drive a Puma. That's what it'll be.
Sure. Anything about the Bass Cat setups fit your style better or anything like that, or
speed? No, not really. The more narrow decks, I like the far forward trolling motors. I like being close, because if you can imagine going to the back deck of your boat and just sitting in the center of it on the ground, or on a butt seat on the ground, and then trying to flip and stuff. I mean, that's a long ways out there to the side of the boat, So I've always tended to like a narrow boat, just so I'm closer to the edges of it while I'm fishing.
I could see that. I mean, I had an 05 Pantera, and definitely was an adjustment coming back to like a Camus and a Phoenix in the bow and all that kind of stuff. So
oh yeah, because those trolling motors are so far forward on the Cat, and that's one of the things I really like about them. But I mean, there's a lot of good boat brands. It's just whatever fits your style.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like I mean, like there's not all shoes fit the same. I mean, like there's a lot of good boats, and it's really about fitting your needs and what works for you and your mechanics and all that kind of stuff. So
that's right.
Yeah. If they just had more cup holders, I think Bass Cats would be better if they had more cup holders.
Yeah, I just don't know where to put my drinks. Oh, they definitely have those.
I don't. The Cats are a good boat. The 2005 model, like just getting into whatever 2020, 2025 models, the boats are just more solid. They carry waves better. But man, I caught what I don't miss, or what I do miss, is having a boat that I don't worry about putting a scratch in. Because like when it's a 2005, it's already got all the scratch, but I mean, I don't know that I catch them any better in my newer boats, but
man, I had a 18-foot Sea Arc with a 115. Had power poles, had hydraulic steering, had an Ultrex. I mean, it was pretty rigged out, but it was an old Sea Arc we'd done a bunch of work to. And I had it as a riverboat here locally, and I ran it a bunch of different times, especially if I needed to get somewhere skinny. And I sold it when I started the NPFL to get a payment for an entry fee. And I miss having the boat that you can run into junk with and not worry about. You just, if you want to slide between trees or whatever you want to do, you can do it in a metal boat. And yeah, I do miss not having that when I'm around here for sure.
Yes, I saw you had a YouTube channel. Kind of, you do your own editing and that kind of stuff on there as well.
Oh yeah, I do my own editing, as you can tell by the YouTube channel. It's pretty. Well, I won't say it's new. It's not new. It is the least. It's the smallest out of all my socials. It's what I put the least amount of work into. But man, it's grown a little bit. I think it's at like almost 500, 470 or something like that subs. And 6 months ago, it was at like 12. So it's growing.
There you go.
For whatever reason, I push YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. My Facebook has grown substantially better than any of the other, even better than the TikTok. So it's kind of my bread and butter as far as making sure everything I put out goes there for sure. Sometimes I miss YouTube. Sometimes it'll be like just a picture on Facebook or whatever. But I've really been trying. I mean, that's, as we all know, that's the way the sport's going for sponsorships, And I've since me and a good buddy had a conversation about it. I guess in July, man, I just started posting. Like, I've missed some days, but before I would post a day or two, 3 times a week, unless it was tournament time. There was stuff to post. Now I'm trying to post 5 to 7 times a week, every week, and it has grown. I mean, my Facebook's grown from 13,000 to almost 20,000, and Instagram's grown about 1,000. YouTube's grown 400 or 500. It's all slowly growing.
I would say that, yeah. I don't know. I've in the last 6 to 12 months, I've seen a similar progression on Facebook. YouTube's always been kind of my main deal, but Facebook has gotten a lot of traction. So, and I would agree, Facebook likes a lot of posts like that. Seems to build momentum there.
Man, I would always get lazy and have all this. I mean, we're required to run a GoPro in the NPFL, so I've got all this footage, and I just didn't do a lot with all of it till I needed SD cards, and I'd delete it and roll on. And I've made myself start saving it, and I don't know, I've got 40 or 50 little, 10 to 20 second videos banked on my phone on the GoPro app. And of course, those would burn up pretty quick, but I try to add stuff. I try to only post 1 or 2 of those a week just to keep it where it'll last till next year. I don't video hardly at all in Arkansas. Like, I've worked really hard to have some of the places I've got here, and I prefer nobody find them without, at least not by watching a video, because I've done it a little bit in the past. And yeah, so I don't video here as much. So I really don't have footage unless I go out of town somewhere. So I try not to burn it all up quick as I get back from a tournament.
There you go. Clay asked earlier, what's your favorite combo?
As far as like rod and reel combo, I assume.
I assume so.
Man, my favorite go-to is a little finesse jig. So like a 7.3 heavy with an 8-to-1 reel, art rod and reel with a 17-pound line. Like, that little jig with a Zoom speaker on it has caught more fish for me and cashed more checks than probably everything else in my boat together.
Is that what you were mainly fishing the brush piles on Truman with, or?
I went to a 3/4 ounce at Truman because they were shallow. They were in 5 to 15 foot, but it was a reaction deal. There was a lot of people fishing the same brush piles, and it was getting bites. I guess nobody else was getting. The last day I did, I had one. I actually got the big jig hung, and I went to go get it because I was getting hung so much. I mean, I just go get as many as I could because I was making like 1 or 2 throws at a pile and going to the next one because it was a reaction deal. And as I started up there to get it, I looked at my graph and there was a fish swam out of the pile. So it was shallow enough. I dropped my poles. I broke the line. I picked up the little finesse jig and threw up there and caught the biggest fish I'd caught all week. It was a 5. So that was the only one I caught on it, I think. But I do, man, I throw it like I've got a dedicated rod and reel with that jig on in the box all the time. Doesn't matter where I'm going. It doesn't matter what I'm going to throw. That rod's tied and ready. I've kind of played a game with it. I don't think I've ever gone anywhere in the country that I've not caught at least one fish on it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Brian asks, when you're shaking fish in tournament practice, you talked about shaking 60 fish on Truman, barbless hooks, covering the hook, cutting the hook points. What's your methodology?
So I normally just have one with the hook cut off of it. You take one that you've used a bunch and the hook's not real sharp, or it's been bent out, or it's kind of rusted, and I'll just clip that one, leave it in the box, and I'll practice with it a lot of times. And it's not always that you need to shake everything. It never hurts, right? Like people go hook a lot of fish in practice, so it never hurts to shake them. But there's times and places that doesn't matter as much. Like you go to Lake Hartwell, there's a real good chance you can hook some fish, and it doesn't matter. There's a ton of fish. Saginaw Bay, you can hook some fish. It's not going to matter. But places that it's going to be a little bit tougher to get a bite, I try to shake them and not hook them. You do that enough, you start getting ideas and weight on some of those fish, and you may not know exactly, but is it a 12-incher? Is it a 3 or 4 pounder? But I've tried like smashing the barb in. I've tried putting a piece of rubber over the end of the hook. I still end up with hooked fish. So pretty much, if I think I just want to shake them and it's a jig or something like that, I'll cut the hook off. If it's a Texas rig, I will actually just tie on a like a screw lock. Like I won't even have a hook, and I'll
Hitchhiker type thing.
Yeah, just screw lock the little bait up on it. And of course, you've got to be easy with them when you shake them on that, or they take your bait and you run through a pack of baits real quick, But you got to make sure they let go. You don't make them let go because they take the bait with you doing that.
Then you're educating them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like nobody likes to cut hooks off baits because you're like, oh man, like you try to do on a used one or one that's beat up or one that's a practice jig already anyways. But like, yeah, I mean, I've tried all kinds of stuff of like putting stuff over the top of it or like cutting just the point off so it's like duller than a ballpoint pen, and man, you still hook a lot of fish. And then
I know, it's
when you
crazy.
go out there with razor sharp hook and you're like, how did I not hook that fish? It's just dumbfounding the number of fish you can hook on like the most dull, turned over, squared off, like or almost turned in where it's got a gap like this, and somehow like, and then like you go with the premium setup and you think you're dialed, and then you miss 3 and you're just like,
I know, or what's crazy to me, you have a jig without a hook or a Texas rig, and you throw in a brush pile and you get hung. You're just like, come on now. Now, how are you hung?
Another question from Brian says, is that full-time fisherman or do you have a job on the side?
So I do motivational speaking, like share testimony type stuff at churches a lot, and then more motivational type at schools and stuff like that. I do that. The angling would be the kind of the full-time gig and working for the sponsors, and I do the motivational stuff as well, as much as I can.
I guess if people have that kind of, church group or like, is that just reach out on socials, or do you have a different way to get contacted for that? Or
no, the socials is the best. Any of those socials, as well as my website's hunterfishes.com. That's FISHES. Hunterfishes.com. You can send a message on there, or TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all those. You can send a message. It's me or my wife. We're the only two that are on any of them, so we'll see them if we get a message sent. If you send a message and I'm at a tournament, it takes me a week. Just forgive me. Sometimes I don't. If it's tournament week, everything else gets put on hold. But other than that, I see them pretty quick.
And we probably got some deer hunting coming up here, so I mean,
yeah, but you got a lot of downtime with that. I can keep up with everything while I'm deer hunting.
So, can you give us a little snippet message, kind of for kind of a motivation for the people watching tonight? Kind of a little sneak peek or a little nugget?
Yeah, man. So, and we hadn't talked about this at all. So, I'm a bilateral amputee, both legs amputated below the knee. I've got, like I said, I can't see my screen, so but you can see I don't have any fingers left hand, a few fingers on the right. Man, you can do it. It doesn't matter what it is. Like you can. There's no reason you can't. I don't care. Everybody faces challenges. Some are physically visible, like mine. Some are mental, invisible. But everybody faces challenges. Life's tough, but there's always light on the other side, man. Good Lord take care of you, and there's no point in sitting at the couch and whining that why me. But you might as well make the most out of your life and go have fun and do what you need to do to have a normal life.
I think that's cool. Yeah, I mean, you want to. I mean, I've never won a Toyota, and you got a lot more hurdles than I do to win. You know what I mean? And a lot of people have much smaller hurdles of getting off the couch or doing small things. And if you can go out and beat Drew Gill, like I think a lot of people are limiting themselves by just not, getting up and getting it done and getting the right mental frame. I think is that,
Yeah, for sure, man. It's, life's what you make out of it. It's Joe Dirt said, "Life's a garden, dig it." But seriously, life's what you make out of it. It's
absolutely.
You can be poor pitiful me, or you can say, "Hey, I'm gonna make this a good day."
Absolutely. And we all have better days and tougher days, but in the end, you gotta be at the stock market. You got your ups and downs, but you gotta be trending up all the time. So
that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, speaking of NPFL, I think I tentatively have old Luke Duncan scheduled for Tuesday night next week.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
I'm sure that'll be a dull time with Luke.
Yeah.
He's so quiet.
Which I think you've been on his show, right? I think.
Yeah, I've been on there a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed Hunter tonight and you want more, you can find him on his YouTube channel. You can find him on the old Traveling Circus archives and a few other places. So
that's right. You'll have to tell Luke.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Tell him get out of his shell next week. Don't be don't be quiet. Get out of his shell and talk a little bit.
Yeah, kind of hoping the roster drops between now and next Tuesday, so we got some fresh content, but we'll see.
Dude, I have no idea when it's going to drop, but I've seen it, and it's bad to the bone. I'll tell you that. If you thought this year was some impressive people fishing, just wait till you see this.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that, I guess that's one thing we haven't really touched on. Like this year, you got. I don't remember all the order. I mean, I think Welcher's been there a couple years and a couple other guys, but kind of an influx of like Hackney and Christie and so I mean, what from your perspective, more the merrier, the bigger, the harder they fought. Like, what's your perspective on, kind of the influx of, let's just call them upper echelon, veterans, maybe is a good way to describe them in joining the NPFL.
Yeah, man, I love it. This is coming from a guy who's not been at that level at the elites or whatever. I think it validates me when I have a good tournament to say, look here, I can do this. Look who I'm fishing against. It's just cool fishing against some of the guys. I mean, Jason Christie, like he's been my hero in Swindle forever, and I mean, I've watched him, and to get to float off the trailer and look over and they're sitting next to you. I mean, like how cool is that, and for Swindle to come by and visit with you on the water, like that's cool stuff to me. And, man, I say the more the merrier. I think it validates us as anglers. I think it validates the NPFL. It definitely, of course, there's haters for everything. But there, for those who may think the NPFL is not doing good things, I can tell you, and it's not a knock against bass, because all these guys are still fishing bass, right? But they wouldn't be there if it wasn't good. Like if NPFL was being stupid and doing stupid things, these guys wouldn't risk their career to be there. And it's, man, I think it's all good. Like they don't make the fish grow. They might catch a few more, but the fish don't just magically get bigger because those guys catch them. Like we're all fishing for the same fish. We just got to beat a few more of them.
So I mean, you've had top tens a handful of times over the years, but so the top 10 on Logan Martin's actually a little sweeter when you've got some of those guys in your rearview mirror, right? Like it kind of I don't know, makes you feel even a little better. I mean, it's always nice to get a top 10, whether it's a 50 boat local tournament or a NPFL. But when you can say that Hackney and Gerald Swindle and Christie and all those guys are in that field, it's even cooler.
Yeah, man, I was 10th at Eufaula in Oklahoma this year and Logan Martin, and it's very humbling to look down the list. You know what I mean? And Hackney, when I was talking about people I've always looked up to, like Hackney, man, it's very humbling to look behind you and go, golly, man, how in the world? I've watched these guys forever, and they're behind me once. Now they may be from me the next time, but they're behind me right now. And funny little story. We've all heard the Biffle stories, right? Like, I'll cut you. This is my creek. Get out.
Yeah.
First term of the year last year in 24, Biffle started fishing with us last year, and I was like as far up a creek as you could possibly be at Logan Martin, like as far up a creek as you could be. And the first day I had it to myself, and the second day, like a boat comes idling up through there, and I'm thinking, who is this? And Biffle shuts down, starts fishing up, and like we have to fish by each other. And I'm kind of nervous, right? Like, this is Tommy Biffle, and I'm fixing to share a creek that I can throw across with him. And like, I'm wondering how this is going to go. Man, he's like the nicest dude in the world. We visited, and he went on his way. But it's funny because you see all these things, and it's like, my whole life I've heard about Biffle hollering, "This is my water," and here I am sharing the same little bitty creek with him. So it's cool.
Maybe he's gotten soft in his old age.
That's right. Maybe so.
Yeah. See, Carol says 2 years ago she beat Fluke Master. She's still living off that mojo.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's last call for questions here. I feel like we covered a lot of stuff, but I've really enjoyed chatting tonight.
Man,
Hunter,
I've enjoyed it.
What's
sure.
I don't know. You got some, if you got some derbies coming up, obviously you're secret about what are you hoping to catch them on coming up this weekend if you go out?
Man, there is actually just a bunch of guys throwing a tournament together at Greer's Ferry here, this local lake this weekend, and I may get hate for this, but I'm not going to catch one that I don't see eat it on that graph, and I'm going to shake my little minnow from the time they say go till I come back in and check in. That's what I'm going to do the whole time, and I'm going to catch them or not. That's what I'm going to do.
Nice. At little minnow this time of year, big minnow, couple you're going to have a couple different ones, or you got like one tied on? What's the approach?
Like I got like a 4-incher tied on. It's not huge, but I really don't know that much. Like
4 inches can be adequate, Hunter.
Yeah, right. I'm new to the minnow game, man. Like I was behind. I really didn't start learning it till this spring. And I'm not the dude. I'm not Drew Gill. I don't have 4 of them. I've got one rod with it, and that's what they're going to bite. And if we do that for 2-3 hours and it doesn't work, I might tie on a different size of head and different size of minnow and try again. But that's what I think they'll bite.
Nice. What kind of water temps you got right now in Arkansas?
As of last week, it was low 60s, and it's been like 70 something every day this week. So I'm sure it'll still be low 60s.
Yeah, that's a big minnow in Iowa, Devin, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you kind of said like the jig is your confidence bait, but what's your favorite way to catch them?
Golly, I hate to admit it, but it may be looking at that graph and shaking the minnow. I mean, I love it. It's addicting to me. I think I got a buddy that tells me it's because it's like hunting. It's a sight related deal. It's like looking for a duck or looking for a deer. That's why I like bed fishing too a lot. But probably shaking a little minnow at them is right now my favorite way to fun fish. In the last couple of years.
So pre-scope, what's the best way to catch favorite?
Probably throwing a frog, hollow body frog.
That was the correct answer we were looking for. So Carol lives right around you. She's wondering where to catch smallies on Greers, or should she go to Bull Shoals? Or what advice in your area do you have if Carol wants to catch some smallmouth?
Yeah, for sure. Greers is absolutely full of smallmouth. You need to be below the narrows on the lower half. But anywhere, this will be pretty specific just to that question. But anywhere in the Cove Creek, on down to the dam from there, any of that's really good. I mean, it's full of smallmouth.
There like a lot of rock bridges. What kind of stuff should Carol's a kayak angler. What
Okay.
should she be kind of targeting?
Points. The best time would be in the spring, like May, and throw a Carolina rig on pea gravel flat points, and say 8 to 12 feet of water. Like that's 100 fish day at Greers in the spring. That's a simple, easy way to catch a bunch of smallmouth.
There you go, Carol. Frog is the only right answer. Good. Cool deal. Well, appreciate your time, Hunter. I think we're going to wrap this thing up, get her uploaded to the MP3. Anybody came in late, make sure you rewind, catch the beginning. We had a good conversation tonight, so we'll say goodbye to the live audience, and everybody have a good night. And we're probably going to be on Tuesday next week with the holiday week. We're going to make a little adjustment, so we'll throw the Omnia code up at the bottom in case I didn't mention that. Anybody needs to get anything. Might be talking some Black Friday deals next week and that kind of stuff. 'Tis the season to be stocking up for next year. So, all right, everybody be good. We'll see you next week.
Appreciate it, man.